this week there was this TikToker who kind of went viral about talking about how buying a home may be a scam, right? And she goes on to talk about different things. Basically, she talked about how when you she was referencing $1 million home, right? So she's saying $1 million home, you have to put 20% down, around $20,000. I think she said after everything, she approximated around $226,000 after you put in everything that you need up front. And then she went on to talk about how with the number she had would be $5,400 per month um, for the first 5 years. And she basically equated in the first year, you would pay 12,000 out of all your payments. You'd make 12,000 would go to your interest.
Yeah.
And then, sorry,
No.
12,000 would go to your principal. Sorry,
Yes.
and 53,000 would go to your principal. So she started talking about how after the first 5 years, it'd be close to $250,000 that went to your interest. And she's basically saying that with all of this, you're paying so much money, and such a small percentage is going to your interest, or sorry, to your principal. And she basically she went on about a lot of things, talking about how you can take this money, you can put it into stocks and put it into bonds. She also wanted to say how with her rent, she's paying around $20,000 a year. So I think her rent was around $600 a month, which again, I need a bit of context because if you buy $1 million home, is that $1 million home? If you were to rent it out, would it cost you $600? Probably not, right? So I think she's doing a little bit of number fudging, as I like to talk about on the show, where you gotta take things with context, right? So for her again, if she's good with where she's at, and she's going to compare, she should have compared. Again, I have no idea where she lives or what kind of property she's in.
Yeah.
But you want to compare things apples to apples versus apples to oranges. Where I'm renting this place, if I was to buy this same house, what would my mortgage be, right? And what's the comparison there?
And what would you have after 25 years
Well,
if you bought the house or if you're renting?
Well, just and with stocks, yeah, great. You can put money in the stocks, right? But you're starting off with, let's say, $250,000 to put in the stocks. But again, the stocks go up and down, and sometimes they go down when you need it. And what happens if it goes down when you need it, right? Where with the home, you have this home. Again, even worst case happens, like, we have some apocalypse, no one's buying homes, but you still have somewhere to live, assuming that the apocalypse hasn't killed you yet or isn't killing you. But so it's just, you got to take things with a grain of salt and kind of dig deeper. A lot of, again, with TikTok is really just basically getting attention, right? So you put out those headlines, you talk about these things, which I'm not saying she was lying, but it's a matter of putting things into context and don't just take the little snippet. You need the whole story, right?
Yeah, I think, like that's great that she's talking that way, but at the end of 25 years, hopefully you own that house. Now you're mortgage free into your retirement, where you're renting, you made somebody else mortgage free. You made somebody else's retirement better. So, I mean, it depends on what side you're on, right? Some people will never buy a home because they don't feel it's worth it.
And one thing to add on to with the same $1 million home, I think with all the numbers she said, at the end of it, you pay around $1.6 million, which means when you purchase the home, you purchase it with a mortgage of $800,000, you end up paying pretty much twice that, right? So you pay double the price. But again, 25 years later, hopefully you haven't taken any more money out of it. So you have now a house and zero mortgage, and you bought the house for $1 million.
It's gone up.
Yeah, it's again, unless something catastrophic happened, your house in 25 years at the current 5-7% doubling will probably be worth around $2 million plus, right? And that's probably being conservative. Thank you.
So right? So you've actually gained money.
Yeah. And if you can double your money in the stock market. It is possible. Don't get me wrong if you know what you're doing, but a lot more people go bankrupt in the stock market than actually make money. Especially with stock market, you're putting in small amounts versus if you have a big amount of money to put in the stocks, then yeah, you can maybe grow it. Again, even if it's a small percentage, you'll get that money now. But it's, again, I'm nothing against stocks. Stocks is, again, if you know what you're doing, if you're responsible, you can definitely make money in the stock market, but it's a lot more risky, in my opinion, than home ownership.
Well, in the stock market, once you lose it, it's gone. It's in money hell, let's just say, because it's gone. So it's not really money haven. But I don't know. I guess it's everybody thinks differently, right? I mean, we from day one believe that, the more property we have, the better we will be situated when we retire. And now you have the reverse mortgages going on, where you can take some money out of your house, enjoy life a little in your retirement, and not have payments. And people are like, well, you're paying. Yeah, but you're paying, like, at least you're enjoying life. Like, what did you work 25, 30 years for, right? To not really do anything after? I don't know. It's, you know.
What did she say if you owned the house that you had to pay monthly in her scenario?
In her scenario, it was 5,400. She was comparing 5,400
to 2,000
to 1633. I think she was paying 20,000 per year. So it's around six. She said 1633.
16. So 1633.
She's got some good rent there.
Yeah. So she's not comparing the same things. She's comparing, buying this amazing condo versus living in almost a bachelor or a small 1-bedroom, not so great of a condo. There's $1 million. The average price of a condo is $700,000. So she's outpacing the market with the purchase, and she's underpacing the market with the lease. So that. And I understand why she did that, because she had to in order to make her numbers work. So, I guess if you're going to write an article or do a content, you have to kind of make it work. So she massaged them in different directions to do that. The thing is that that is undisputable when it comes to home ownership, is that it's yours. And there's something magical about that. I know for us, growing up with our kids, they always were in our house, and we would invest like crazy in our standard of living inside our home. And so our kids were the main focus of all of that. And so that you can't do inside of a rental. And so
where's the security, right?
Well, but you just cannot do it inside of a rental. You can't renovate that home to make it yours, to make it work for you. So that's sort of one thing to keep in mind. And we have seen several articles that will compare owning a home to renting and investing, the difference. And there's always some serious skewing in there. They typically have to take in, estimate, you have to do the roof, and you have to do this, and you have to do that in order to dumb down the price earnings on the home. There is something else to remember, though. When you purchase a home at $1 million or over $1 million, so you have to put $200,000 or $230,000 or whatever into it, you have $1 million that you're living in, versus when you buy stocks, you pay $230,000, you have $230,000 investment. So if the stocks go up 12% and the house only goes up 5%, remember the house is going up 5% on $1 million. And the stock is going up 12% on $230,000. So you got to remember these type of things as well. And also then look at which market is more volatile. I mean, go through the history of the Toronto Real Estate Board. There's been 2 times, and we're going through the second time in history, where we saw a negative dip. Actually, it'll be 3 times in history, because there was a time when it just dipped below the 0 mark. And I'd have to look back to remember that year. But outside of that, any other time in history that you've ever heard that the market corrected, it did not go negative. It just went from a crazy 12% year to now a 5% year. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. And please let us know your thoughts in the comments, as well as any questions you may have. We're live most Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure to tune in. Thank you again for watching, and remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so you can stay up to date on all our future uploads.